Hello guys, welcome to my channel Epic Tale Teller Story.
One day, I was playing in my grandma's backyard. It was a hot summer. Just I was about to get up. I heard strange voice, po, I don't know where it was coming from, and what is it hard to figure out. It like somebody making noise by themselves, as they were just saying poem, again and again in a masculine voice. I was searching where the voice was coming. I suddenly noticed something on the top of the tall hedge that enclosed the backyard. It was a straw hat. It wasn't resting on hedge, it was behind it, where it sound coming from po. The hat stopped at a small gap in the hedge and I could see the face peering through. It was a woman, but hedges were high, 8 feet tall. Then slip second later, she walked off and the strange noise disappeared with her. I got up and wandered back into the house. My grandparents were there drinking a tea. I told my grandpa what I see. They were not paying attention to me. Until I mentioned that distinctive sound. Po. I said that both of them froze. Grandpa's face becomes serious and he grabbed my arm. He said,
This is a very important question. You must tell us exactly how tall is she?
I replied, as tall as the garden hedge.
Where was she standing? When did this happen? What did you do? Did she see you?
I tried to answer all the question as best I could. Grandpa suddenly rushed out to hallway and made a phone call. Grand was trembling. Then Grandpa go out for a while, and I cried. What's happening, Grandpa? He looked at me and then say to my grandma,
You stay with her and don't take eye out of her.
And he said to me with sad expression and say,
You have been liked by Hachishaku-sama.
And then he went outside. I turned to my grandma. Ask who is Hachishaku-sama. My grandma said that anyone saw 8 feet tall was destined to die in few days. I wasn't sure what to believe when Grandpa back home there was an old lady with him. She introduced herself as Kei-san and handed me a small crumpled of parchment saying, Here, take this and hold it. Then she and Grandpa went upstairs. After a while, old lady and Grandpa took me to upstairs and brought me into my room. The windows were covered in newspaper and lot of ancient runes had been written on them. There were small bowls of salt in all 4 corners of room and a small Buddha figure placed at the center of the room. Old lady sat me down and said as the sun will be setting, Listen carefully. You must stay in the room until tomorrow 7 o'clock. Your grandparents didn't speak to you or call you until then. Remember, do not leave the room for any reason. I will let your parents know.
You have to follow old lady Kei-san's instruction to the letter and never let go of the parchment she gave you. And if anything happened, pray to Buddha and make sure lock this room when we leave.
I closed the bedroom door and locked it. I turned on TV. Suddenly, I sleep and wake up in 1 a.m. All of a sudden, I realized someone tapping on window. I was so scared and telling myself it was just a wind playing tricks. Eventually, it stopped altogether. I heard my grandpa's voice.
Are you okay? If you are scared, you don't have to stay in there all alone. I can come in and keep you company.
I smile and rushed over to open the door, but then I glanced to my left. The salt in the bowl went black. I back away from door. My whole body was trembling and scared. I felt into my knees in front of Buddha and clutched the piece of parchment tightly in my hands, and I praying for help. Then I heard the voice, po. I checked my watch and it's 7:30. I cautiously opened the door. Grandma and old lady waiting outside for me, and I went to see my father and mother sitting in the kitchen. Grandpa came in and said,
Hurry up, we have to go.
We drove straight to the airport. It gave me chills. I was glad when we finally got back home.